Hello YouTube, Heartless Angel here, back with another Pokemon ORAS Wi-Fi battle. Now today I'm bringing you another RU match, our last RU match with this RU team against Raymond, aka FlamingAxel. I will link his YouTube in the description below. If you haven't already, I highly suggest you subscribe to him. He has some great content on there. So he starts out with his Jolteon, as I start off with Fabulous, the Cinccino. As this is our Scarf Cinccino, I know unless he's Scarfed, we will outspeed, and I decided just to go for the tail slap, just to see how much damage I can get off and see if I can kill this Jolteon. The Jolteon will go down to the tail slap, which is always great. Stab, tail slap from Cinccino with skill link is always fun times. So Jolteon goes down and he brings in his own Cinccino. Now, not wanting to risk him being scarfed as well and go for some shenanigans, I decide to switch out into Cofagrigus in case he decides to go for a tail slap of his own. He does, however, decide to double out into Swagzyre, the Quagsire, and normally this would probably be an issue. Except I'm packing Energy Ball on my Cofagrigus, specifically for Quagsires and Gastrodons that try to wall Cofagrigus. So Quagsire goes down without a hitch, and I'm in a really good position here. 2-0, you know, this is great. So he does bring in his Sceptile, and he is Mega, so he will Mega Evolve, and I decide to actually stay in, surprisingly, just to see if what set he is, if he's physical, mix, special. He does go for the Energy Ball, revealing that he is most likely special, and it does a decent amount. It will definitely be a 2-hit KO, as I just go for the Shadow Ball, which does an okay amount. It definitely won't be a 2-hit KO, and I wouldn't even leave King Tut in here anyway, because he would outspeed and kill. So wanting to keep King Tut in play for later, I decide to switch out into Baconar Emboar, as he decides to go for another Energy Ball, knowing that it would kill King Tut. It does do a decent amount on Emboar, especially after considering the fact that I do resist, and it is, you know, I am a bulky band set. He does go for the Dragon Pulse next turn, as I go for the Flare Blitz. Sceptile will not survive, as I survive on very low HP after his Dragon Pulse and the recoil from Flare Blitz. I live on 8 HP. So I believe Blaze took into effect after the Energy Ball. I'm not 100% sure. He does bring in his Cinccino and decides to U-turn out, which is fine by me because as Bacon falls, I do get the switch initiative from his U-turn, and that's why I don't really like going for U-turn when it's going to, or Volt Switch when it's going to kill the opponent or make the opponent's Pokemon faint, because then they get the switch initiative instead of me. So he does bring in the Slow King as I come into Angry Ant, the Durant, because, you know, I'm thinking I can force a switch out and set up with my Home Claws for a sweep. However, something I did not expect him to do was use Fire Blast. That's exactly what he does, and unfortunately, Angry Ant's Reign of Terror ends before it can even begins. I honestly expected the standard Psyshock, Surf, or Scald set with Toxic and Slack Off, but he is Assault Vest. So I do come back in with Fabulous and go for the Bullet Seed. It will do an okay amount after all 5 hit and 1 crit. It will definitely be a 2-hit KO. However, like, this thing is packing so much power behind it because he will go for the Surf and it will take Fabulous down. And I can't remember if it was a crit or not. It was a crit. I don't know if the crit mattered or not. I know Cinccino's defenses aren't the best. So if he is max special attack, which I'm pretty sure he is because of the fact that he is Assault Vest, he did reveal to me later that is what I suspected, I probably would have killed anyway. So he does switch out into his own Cinccino as I Mega Evolve and go for the Hurricane. That was a great plan, his getting the Regenerator back up and just keeping this pretty powerful tank in his reserve. So I do go for the Hurricane, and I do believe it will kill. Yes, it will kill Cinccino without a crit, and that just goes to show how bad Cinccino's defenses are. He does come in with the Aromatisse, and honestly, it was around this time that things started to get a little dicey for me. I do go over another Hurricane here, and it does do an okay amount of damage, and I do get the Confusion. And he does go for, I'm trying to remember here, he does go for the Moonblast here, and it will do, it'll do it does, I think, about half from here. I honestly can't tell. I don't think it would be a 2-hit KO. I think I could survive a second Moonblast if I really wanted to, but I am not going to stay in knowing that the Stab Hurricane didn't do too much. I don't have too much confidence in Heat Wave, so I will go back into King Tut as he hurts himself in the Confusion this turn, which is always great, especially with his Leftovers recovery kicking in, and so is mine. So any residual damage on walls is great. That is my my rule. If it's a wall, get as much residual damage on it as possible. So after Leftovers recoveries, I do go for the Shadow Ball. It will do quite a sorry, it will do almost nothing to this Aromatisse as he goes for Wish and snaps out of the Confusion. I wasn't sure if he was going to go for Protect here, if he was going to switch out into Slowking to get even more HP up. I don't think he would have wanted to switch into the Slowking now that I think about it, because wouldn't want to risking his a Shadow Ball or an Energy Ball. But so I do decide to switch out into Dragalge here, because I know that I can completely, even if he does decide to protect this turn, I can destroy with a Sludge Wave. He does go for the Moonblast though, and being neutral and being specially bulky, I do take it really well, but I do get the special attack drop, which is unfortunate, especially against this Aromatisse. I do decide to stay in and go with the Sludge Wave again, because I am specs with adaptability. I thought that even with the special attack drop, it could kill. It was so close to killing, but not quite. He will go for another Wish here, and predicting him to go for Protect, but he does switch out, and I predicted going for Protect, I believe, and I decided just to go for the Sludge Wave as he decides to stay in. You know, I didn't want to switch out just in case he didn't. I didn't want to over-predict. He does come back into Arthur, though. The Sludge Wave will not kill. If it wasn't for the special attack drop, that would have killed. And he will get the Wish recovery, which is, again, unfortunate. Not wanting to take a Psychic to the face, here I decide to switch Dragalge out back into King Tut, knowing that King Tut can take, despite how powerful this Slowking is, I was pretty sure I could take a Psychic. He does, however, decide to switch back into Aromatisse, which, oh boy, walls. I don't know what it is with me and special walls, but I just have so much trouble getting over them. First Cresselia and now Aromatisse. So after Leftovers recoveries and all that good stuff, he goes for the Protect as I go for a Will-O-Wisp, because residual damage. Golden rule against these gosh darn walls is residual damage. The name of the game. Toxic, burn, Will-O-Wisp. He actually, surprisingly enough, he decides to stay in here and takes the Will-O-Wisp. I'm not sure why. I guess he didn't want to get any. I guess he didn't want any of his other Pokemon burned, especially that Slowking. And he does decide to go for the Moonblast here, and I just eat that Moonblast up. I don't. Never mind. It does a decent amount of damage. Not enough to kill, thank God. And then after my Leftovers recovery, and after his Leftovers recovery, and then burn damage, I know this guy must be boring. And that's why I'm talking like this, to be, dramatic. But anyway, so I do decide to switch out, not wanting to take another Moonblast, and definitely wanting to reserve King Tut for that Slowking. He does go for Moonblast as I go for the Dragalge. Of course, being neutral, I do eat that up really well. And once again, his Leftovers comes in, and then his burn damage takes effect as well. I do go for the obvious Sludge Wave here, because if he decides to switch out, Slowking will either die or take massive amount of damage. If he stays in, Aromatisse dies. So Aromatisse does go down to the Sludge Wave, and now all I have to deal with left is the Slowking, I believe is his final Pokemon. So I do decide to switch in, stay in. I wasn't sure if I outsped or not. I wasn't sure how much a Sludge Wave would have done. He did go for the Psyshock. In hindsight, I probably should have switched out. That way I could have come back in and done even more damage with the Draco Meteor, but unfortunately that was my misplay. I do bring in King Tut, the Cofagrigus, once again as he goes for Surf, and I just barely survive with 6 and go for Shadow Ball, and it is so close to killing. From this range, even if King Tut goes down next turn, I'm pretty sure a Hurricane from Mega Pidgeot would have would have killed it, but I do win the speed tie here, and with the Shadow Ball, that will be enough to take Slow King down. Great game, my friend. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. As always, my Twitter link is in the description below. This is Heartless Angel, guys, signing off.